It is commonly believed that trauma received in childhood is the first and main reason why people grow up as sadists and rapists. The situation with Angarsk Maniac was no exception, although there is nothing unusual in his early biography, at least at the first glance. He was born on March 7, 1964, in the city of Norilsk. Soon his family moved to Angarsk, where he went to school. He did also spend some time with his grandparents in Norilsk. When his parents finally took him away, he was immediately introduced to his own sister. The boy has not been told about his mother's pregnancy and the birth of the child. Even then, his brother had a grudge, so the boy tried to earn his parents' love by his exemplary behavior. Later, his mother claimed that he was an excellent student. One day, Popkov left for summer vacation at a camp. On his parents' day, when moms and dad came to visit kids with presents, no one visited him. 2 weeks later, the boy could not stand it anymore and ran back home. Upon entering the apartment, he found his drunken parents with an unfamiliar man engaged in a sexual act. By the way, in an interview given in prison in 2020, the convict denied his moments. After school, he went to a technical college, where he majored in mechanics. Before and after army, he helped his father dig graves in cemetery. He wasn't afraid of physical labor, he was strong and sturdy. A relationship with his family remained warm. According to his mother's recollections, the son listened to his elders and did not try to cross them. The press repeatedly brought up moments when the parents of the Angarsk Maniacs were accused of alcoholism. But Antonina Popkova denied this fact. As for the family life, everything here also turned out according to the criminology textbook. Maniac's relatives could not even think of a connection between him and a series of murders in the city. Mikhail had an early marriage. His wife, Yelena Pavlovna, was a colleague, working at the same duty station as a passport officer. Soon, her daughter Katya, her father's favorite, was born. The neighbors spoke highly of the family. There were no scandals, no fights, or other signs of inadequate behavior. On the photos of the couple, we could see a happy couple in love, tenderly embracing one another. Mikhail was usually fiddling with the car in the yard, was polite, didn't abuse alcohol, although one moment in the family life was a turning point in the biography of Angarsk Maniac. One day, on his way back from the service, he saw Katya, a 5-year-old girl, in light sweater and frozen. He asked why she was out so late, and the girl said that her mother and unfamiliar man asked her to go for a walk. Her mother did not deny those accusations. Moreover, her husband found used condoms in the house. Amazingly, but Popkov didn't even try to accuse Helena of cheating. Both tried to forget what happened. Investigators concluded that Mikhail wanted to raise his daughter in full family. At the same time, he felt more and more disgust for fallen women, those who cheated on their husbands and drank alcohol. All these unpleasant facts from his childhood and personal life gave a start to a series of horrific crimes. After returning from the army, Popkov got a job at a local factory as a mechanic and repairman, then became a compressor operator. After meeting with a former classmate who worked from transport police, he decided to start working at a law enforcement agency. During the conversation with his former classmate, he found out that he received the same salary, but the schedule and job duties turned out to be more attractive. So, in 1987, a future murderer changed the field of activity and got a job in duty unit. Work at the law enforcement agency allowed Popkov to see pictures from the inside. Later, he said in the interviews that he did not try to hide the bodies. The Angarsk Maniac simply left no clues. The only thing that could indicate the involvement of policemen in the committed atrocities were traces of tires. In 1998, Popkov decided to resign. Former policeman switched to a private security firm. Shortly before his arrest, he was involved in ferrying cars from Vladivostok. Popkov got on criminal trail in 1992. The motive for rapes and murders turned out to be banal. The history with his mother and unfaithful wife influenced the young man. Mikhail would wait until late night for lonely girls and women who were alone and drunk on the street. Then he offered girls a ride home. During the ride, he persuaded them to continue the fun, to drink and be alone. As Popkov later explained, it was his way of getting rid of unworthy women who exchanged family life for alcohol and strange men. However, the relatives of the victims did not agree with this characteristic of the cleaner. Mikhail first raped and then killed them with axes, knives and screwdrivers. The official sources say that number of his victims is 84. 3 managed to survive. One of the survivors reported that rapist was a policeman. However, the girl's words were not heeded. It was believed that numerous injuries had caused her insanity. In 2002, the task force began its work, which included Sergei Derzhavin, Valery Kostarev, and Artyom Dubinin. Before that, the case was handled by famous prosecutor Nikolai Kitaev, famous for catching Vasily Kulik. The new group narrowed the circle of suspects down to 589 people. These were the people who had a Niva car, third blood group, and experience in law enforcement. Mikhail was summoned for a questioning only in 2012. The suspect was tested for DNA examination, and in June the lab confirmed the involvement of former police officer in 3 episodes. In January 2015, the Irkutsk Regional Court sentenced him to life imprisonment. The prosecution managed to prove the facts of the murders of 22 women. Then he decided to talk about more crimes, another 59 episodes. As a result, the rapist received a second life sentence in 2018. It became clear that he surpassed Andrei Chikatilo by the number of ruined lives.